Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is Ninja Gaiden 3, and there's an elephant in the room when discussing this game. And this isn't Ninja Gaiden 3, this is the public apology that Team Ninja have done for the shambles of a game that is Ninja Gaiden 3. And it's kind of funny, because everything that they've changed in, Ninja Gaiden, the public apology, is pretty much the things they defended as design choices, on the original. And I find it hilarious, I really do, because they've gone back on everything that they were calling, these amazing changes, these modern progression towards, making this emotional journey, this spiritual character performance of Ryu getting cursed and finding like family figures and somehow being this giant metaphor for a father in a somewhat reserved yet still massively chesty woman who's the central female character. It's just hilarious, guys, it really is. And I haven't uploaded any Ninja Gaiden 3 because the game is bad, but I probably am going to, just because this is coming out, so you do need a frame of reference to how much better this game is. And it is better, it's better in a lot of ways, but it's an interesting trade-off, because immediately you'll notice I'm using the claws, and I'm using the claws because on this game they're actually quite good. On the original Ninja Gaiden 3 they do have some fantastic uses, but the standard combos and things just, I don't know, they've never really been my weapon on this game, which is a shame because I've always liked the claws. But you'll notice there's also the dual katana, a weapon that is not in Ninja Gaiden 3, and this is a cool weapon too. And I'm charging a UT, which is something that isn't in Ninja Gaiden 3, and immediately makes the game more fun because it feels more like a Ninja Gaiden. The changes that they've made to the combat are interesting. The beret guys, you can no longer wind path or wind run, hop off their head and then impale them with the flying swallow because they block it. This is only on normal, guys. This is not on Master Ninja, Ultimate Ninja, any of that stuff. This is on normal. Right there, that is a move that is not in the last game. That is the guillotine throw, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass to do on this game. But it's useful because if you hit the beret guys, you can instantly delimb them and you can follow them up with an obliteration technique. And that right there, the weapon changing, they've made it so that it doesn't take 50 minutes to change weapons. It sounds like something very silly, but if you've played the previous one, it is a massive thing. And then there's this section here, which is one thing that I'm a little disappointed with. Ryu's arm is glowing, and this is the classical UT from the previous game. But on this game, because you can do them anytime, they're just standard ultimate techniques, and every so often you go into that rage mode, which enables you to do the standard ultimate technique, flashy, karma, bonus thing. And I would have preferred it if the UT charging looked like that, and there was none of that blood karma stuff. If anything, the blood karma could have been a combo or a kill streak kind of modifier. I think it would have worked better in that way, because the ultimate techniques on this game, they look a bit boring, and I only mean that from a particle perspective, because on the last game you glue blue. I say last game, on the good Ninja Gaiden games, you glue blue for an ET, an essence technique, you glue orange or red for an ultimate technique, and they always looked really good and fancy. And on this game they look fine, but the charge just, it looks tame, it doesn't look nowhere near as good. And I don't know why I'm really mentioning that, because Ninja Gaiden 3 and the public apology, both of these games look worse than Ninja Gaiden 2. Ninja Gaiden 2 is a much better looking game than this, which makes no sense, seeing as how this is 2013 and Ninja Gaiden came out in 2008. Better engine, better everything, no idea how that works. But the flying swallow on this game no longer cuts you into the animation of either flipping the enemy with the claws or stabbing them in the chest and doing like the cartwheel with the dragon sword, which is an interesting thing for gameplay because it no longer enables you to immediately obliterate enemies because you don't land next to them. You literally take their head off like the flying swallow of old. So, Veterans of the series will enjoy that because it's definitely different. And it's interesting. It plays so different. Like, for instance, you'll notice I've had a full Ninpo meter for most of the fights, but I don't use it because I'm so conditioned in this game to only use Ninpo when I'm dying. And because this is on normal, the only time I'm really dying is when I'm making silly mistakes. Like this here, they make all the changes and they leave that in. Why is that in? Why is it not just hold forward on the analog? Nobody enjoys pressing each fucking trigger to do anything. It's not cool. It isn't cool at all. Another interesting thing with the UTs as well, at the end of the UT, whoever you're doing it to, you cut them in half, and it stops you from being able to obliterate them, which I suppose makes a lot of sense, but from somebody whose, Ninja Gaiden 3 repertoire consists of about 4 moves that I spam relentlessly because they work and that game is not very fun, coming to this game, when I'm actually trying to get the obliteration techniques for fun rather than for survivability, it's definitely interesting. And the claws and all the weapons on this game, you can get them to level 2, and I don't know if you get more techniques for being higher level. I didn't look for a move list, but when I was experimenting with buttons, there seemed to be moves I'm missing from the claws. For instance, I couldn't do the Y, forward Y to launch the alchemists. Didn't work at all on this game. The same way the wind path to flying swallow just isn't here. One thing I did notice, which I'm going to make a video on, because I don't know, I think it might be something worth noting, is the on-landing 360Y on the claws. I've never really messed about with it on Ninja Gaiden 3, but on this game, it's really good, because you can literally chain Izuna drops if that's your thing, or if you're just going for strictly, survival purposes. You can just hog iframes and just Izuna drop for days. It's unbelievably powerful. You saw me do it earlier on in the day. And all you have to do is, I'm doing it here, as soon as you land, do the on-landing 360Y. But just then I built up the Blood Rage, so it didn't matter. But it's literally Izuna drop. As you see Ryu go to land, 360Y, and you'll go immediately into a move that launches them, then you finish the Izuna drop, and you can just continue doing that. You can literally do Izuna drop the game part 2, because obviously Ninja Gaiden 3 is Izuna drop the game, because that's literally what you can do for that entire thing. And a lot of people don't like Izuna dropping. They like to try and find better ways to play it, because it can get boring if you don't enjoy it. To me, Izuna dropping never gets boring. I don't even know why. Like, it's hilarious how much I don't get sick of the technique, and I can literally Izuna drop every single guy in a room. Like right here, you'll notice I'm trying to do different combos. I was going for the Blade of Nariti finish rather than the Izuna drop, just to mix it up a little. And it's funny, guys, because for instance the alchemists are actually very challenging now, and they're challenging before because they're assholes and they get very spammy like these guys are doing. But my first playthrough of this demo, I just charged UTs against them, and when they stood up after the first UT, they put the hand in the ground immediately, and it allowed me to do it again. So I killed all of them with 2 essence techniques and an obliteration technique, and that was it. I didn't even take any damage. Yet every time I fought them afterwards, they've never done the same thing. And that's a good thing, because it means that the AI is, is progressive and it's challenging. And the alchemists are one of the better designed enemies on Ninja Gaiden 3, because they're an enemy that doesn't just rush you. They're an enemy that actually does different things and forces you to respond, because you can't just Izuna drop and all that kind of thing. You've got to think about it. And on this game, they're a little bit different. This right here was using the Ninpo. I was expecting the Fire Dragon. That was the first time I'd used it, and lo and behold, it was actually, the one from the older games, which is interesting. But the real thing to ask yourself, or what I have, is, have they fixed the things you disliked? And because I disliked so much of the previous game, the answer is no. They've put in a lot of good things. They've put in a lot of things that immediately make the game more enjoyable. You can buy costumes, you can buy Ninpo, you can upgrade, you can do all that kind of stuff, and it makes it a better game. You can charge the ultimate techniques, makes it a better game. You can play as a Yanni, which I haven't played as, because I couldn't give a single fuck about playing as girls on this game. I'm a complete misogynist when it comes to that. But it's nice that they've done that. It gives it some diversity. But the bottom line is Ryu still unresponsive? Does he still take forever to recover from a lot of things? Yes, he does. They haven't fixed that. Do you land, see a grab coming, do an evade, it doesn't register, and you still get grabbed? Yes, it does that. And those are the things they should have fixed. You know, Ryu does not move like he does on number 2 or number 1. It is intentionally slowed down. He has recovery frames for days. And some of them you can't even shuriken cancel out of, so is it a better game? Yes. Is it on par with the previous ones? From what I've played, no. It isn't. Will I be covering it? Probably. But that is the demo for Razor's Edge. It's available now. Download, enjoy, tell me what you think about it. I was pleased, but at the same time, it's not difficult when the last one was so egregiously bad. But thanks for watching, and you take care now.